Okay, hello guys, and today this is my spring forecast. So as you can see, we've got up in here we've got this above average temperature area. Um, I think that a lot of this moisture down in here is going to be like kind of lifted up into this area. We're already seeing that happening through March. And March is count is meteorological spring. So really, I'm forecasting for today through the 1st of June. So above average temperatures through here, slightly above. Now, one thing I do want to mention is because last my winter forecast actually did verify pretty well. Um, there were some areas I didn't do quite as good in the north, but really for the East Coast, I did generally good forecasting those above average snow area in here, and then above average snow area in here. Actually, in Huntsville, Alabama, they got record snow this year, so that did definitely pay off. To put that out there, and people were like, "Oh, you're being bold and stuff." And even through early January, late January, everybody's like, "Oh, your forecast sucks, dude. It's not doing anything." I'm like, "Just wait, winter's not over yet." And then February just came in with a bang, and it was crazy. So, um, you really just got to trust me on this stuff. And I understand that it's very, very easy to think that since winter's three-quarters of the way over, it's pretty much not going to be able to make a rebound. But I mean, it did some crazy things. And I mean, Boston, I had all these areas in my in I forget what I called it, but it major snowstorm threat. And I mean, I live in Norfolk down here. We had easily doubled our. I think I got 19 inches, and our average is about 6 inches. So two major snowstorms that we had that were exceeded 5 inches of snow, and then the rest was just a few minor snowstorms. But really, we did get some major snowstorms, and then I had this red area crest right into here, and they did have one major snowstorm down here. And then obviously Boston had about 50 million major snowstorms. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, it was over five major snowstorms, and I'm talking they're major, not just down here, not 5 inches plus, probably 10 inches plus. They had more than five snowstorms, so a lot. And I mean, they're 2 inches away from their record right now. Let's just hope they can break it. They're right in this zone. I think that they can go ahead and break that record. Only 2 inches. It's so close. I don't know why people don't want any more snow. I mean, it's worth it to just get that record because this is definitely deserves it. Okay, enough talking about that. So slightly above average going from California into southern New Jersey, and even going over New York City. Something I do want to mention is, now that I look at this, I do think that this slightly above average area, you might want to just pull all the way up through here, and this slightly below just come through down here, just because we've got that positive PDO. That's really just going to keep the warm in here, and maybe even above average, not even slightly. So I might have underplayed this a little bit, so just keep that in mind. But I think that below average is generally going to stay in here. So as you can see, a zonal flow, if not trough in here, but I think eventually, occasionally, especially late March, early April time frame, that trough might try to come in here and give areas north of New York City snow. Keep that in mind, north of New York City generally, and then maybe the mountains in here. Okay, maybe if at very best north of Philly, I'd say, for any kind of snowstorm, big one. It looks like, but like I said before, really things can happen that are crazy. So trough could come in here, could cause some more wintry mess, but down here in Norfolk we're pretty safe, I could say. So yep, let's move on to my precipitation forecast. So we've got this below average area of precipitation. I hate to say it, but that is definitely looking to be the case. Then especially through March, this big area of precipitation over here. I mean, they're just getting pummeled with snow. And then up in here, so you can kind of see where the severe weather's setting up in my forecast, right in this area, I'm thinking. But I generally think that just this will be mainly early, but I think that the slightly above can maybe linger through May. That's when it will really matter because obviously, or mid through late April is when severe weather season really gets started. But I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a few slight chances for especially like south and here. I think we've already seen some tornado chances actually yesterday or something. Oh, whoops. Okay, so here's my overall forecast. I love doing these just because I can kind of get a little more in depth with what I'm trying to say. So I will always do these. Average in this gray area, really not looking too crazy in any direction. Dry and warm for west coast generally, and then going further inland, almost to the Rockies, even to the Rockies in some places. Cold with some snow, especially in the mountains. Keep that in mind. Mountains, you can see some snow. Cold and snowy, that can persist pretty long, if you know what I mean, in these areas. So I just went ahead and said cold and snowy just because you can see a few more snow chances up there, I'm sure. Worst of severe weather in this area. So pretty typical severe weather setup. It can sometimes have more northeast, west to east, instead of west to east, northeast to southwest direction, and kind of come into here and then into here. But I really think this is a good guess for right now. And obviously what I think will happen is sometimes these shots, really what happens is these same systems will track east, mountains break them up, not going to be as severe. So really you almost never have a worst of severe weather along the east coast. Obviously I've never seen it happen, but down here you can sometimes get it. Fall time is a different story. A lot of times these areas can get in the worst of it, but that's obviously not as bad. So worst of severe weather season: Oklahoma, Kansas, most of Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, northern Mississippi, and some portions of Alabama, northern Louisiana. Sometimes these shots in the southern areas. If the cold troughs, so I'm thinking early severe weather season would be your best shot for the severe weather down here. And then late, super late would be when the bad storms start heading east. Usually June and July is actually for around here when we get our worst storms. So yeah, that's when we usually have to worry a little bit more. And then northern areas, a lot of times in July, those are when you get those kind of events. But yep, this is pretty much my thoughts right now. And also, not to mention, portions of Colorado are involved here, and that's not that rare. That happens a lot. But just forgot to mention that. And then northern Texas, of course, can't leave them out. So yeah, this has been my spring forecast. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'll be coming out with a summer forecast, something that I'm going to stop doing. This was really immature of me. I've been growing as a meteorologist a lot, and that's been making 3 different forecasts for one season, like every month. I don't see the point in that. If I always have to change it, and the forecast is just becoming more accurate, but it's actually different, like a lot different, then why am I even doing it? So I'm pretty much just going to make one forecast like right at the start or right after it starts of the season, just so I have a better idea and I can just get better content out to you guys, because I don't want to be giving you guys, a bunch of baloney that's not going to really happen. I mean, 3 months out, that's the best I can give. Really just general ideas that's only like a 50% chance of it happening. But when it's like, literally when it's starting, I can give you a really good idea of what's going to happen, because we already have an idea of what's going to happen for the first third. A good, really good idea of what's going to happen for the first third of the season. So that's why it's much, much better for me to just bring it out a little bit later like this. So I hope you guys don't mind. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.